This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There's my boys, Welt Rheaume in Hollywood. Make sure you call them, man. If you got any issues, they will definitely take care of you. How you feeling, baby? You feeling better? I know you're a little down on the weather there.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better. I think it's partially allergies. I think it's partially just this never-ending haze of smoke from Canada. But I am definitely.
Oh, that's right. You're getting all that shit. That's right. I'm sorry about that, dude. Yeah, man. That's right. Yeah. Damn, bro.
It's not good for the allergies.
So basically, Canadians suck at putting out fires, is what you're saying?
I have real questions about the methods that are being used. Of course, I also know absolutely nothing about it, and so I'm not going to question them in a serious way. But yeah, like what? These have been burning up for like a month, and I know it's really remote. I get it, like they have remote forests up there, but there are airplanes. I feel like this should have been handled by now. But then again, what do I know? I just write about football.
Maybe it's the same people that handle the Titans sub or something. I don't know. It's just it is what it is. What can I tell you? Would you pay $250,000 to go into that litle crap capsule to go all the way down? I really, like, you're rich. You got nothing better to do, bro? I mean, seriously, that's what you want to do? You want to go down in a rinky-dink sub where 8 people are trying to look through a little tiny hole to see if they can actually see a boat? I mean, come on, dude. What is wrong with people?
I'm 6'2" and 240. Like, you couldn't pay me enough. You could forget me paying. You couldn't pay me to do that.
Right.
Like, and I actually have always been fascinated by the Titanic. I don't know why. I'm a history guy. Maybe that's part of it. Whatever. Fun fact. And I might screw up the relation here a touch because it's a story that's been passed down about 100 times. I think my great uncle worked on the Titanic, like in terms of making it, and was offered like a ticket or two. It was 2 tickets to go on the maiden voyage, and he was like, "Nah, I've seen enough of it. I'm good." Good choice by him.
Yeah,
good choice by him.
Did he give you some lotto numbers before he passed away or something? Because
he was gone about 100 years or so before. 100.
Okay, no, but I'm just saying this guy can make good decisions. So when we talk about gut feelings. That guy right there, baby. That
man made a good call. I always wondered, like, it also, like, not even to be funny, like, when he opened up the paper and saw that, he must have been. Oh my God! I mean, I'm sure he felt awful because he worked on this shit, but also, like, can you imagine that? You were like, yeah, 2 tickets, sure, nah, I'll pass, and then you read that, however, 2 weeks later.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. That is crazy stuff. Yeah. All right. Again, we got to see the video, but as the police report comes out and the story, and obviously you had Tyreek part of Kansas City, so you have a little history. How disturbing is this? Because to a certain extent, he was doing everything perfect here, and he was relating with people and kids and really representing himself the right way. And if the story is what it is and how it went down, that, the guy smacked him, attacked him, insulted him by, offering him $200 to, shut up, which, by the way, that means, is Tyreek a shitty tipper too on top of all of that? Because I think you would give up more than $200 if you're trying to keep somebody quiet. But anyway, it just kind of becomes a little disturbing that he hasn't learned from some of his mistakes in the past.
Well, look, right now, as you point out, all of its allegations, right? So we got to see how it all shakes out. That being said, if the allegation that he offered this guy $200 to keep quiet is true, if I'm the NFL, I'm as pissed off about that as any other part of this story. Like, if all the allegations are accurate and you did this, and then you tried to pay some guy off with a couple of hundreds. Now, if I'm the NFL, I'm asking myself, like, have you tried to pay other people off to do the same thing, to be quiet about it? I mean, let's put it this way. I'm investigating that thoroughly, okay? Yeah. And on top of that, if the allegations are true, I'm also looking at this if I'm the NFL, and I'm saying that is such an unbelievably avoidable situation.
Exactly.
There are times, not that it makes it right, but like where an NFL player is harassed at a club, harassed out in public, and the guy snaps. Not okay, can't do it. but it's more understandable, at least from a human level, than it is to just say, well, what was happening here with Tyreek Hill? Why did this happen? And let's also be real. Because of the history of Tyreek Hill, the NFL is going to look at this much more seriously than it would with another player. Not to say they wouldn't investigate it, but they're going to investigate it with a fine-tooth comb with Tyreek Hill compared to other guys. And secondly, if they do find wrongdoing, they're going to come down harder on Tyreek Hill than they would with a guy who has absolutely no history at all. So it's not ideal. And if you're the Dolphins, who have real designs on making a run in the division, run in the AFC, losing him for any amount of potential time would really hurt.
I think he's already gone for at least the Chargers game. At least the Chargers.
Which is week what? What week is that?
Yeah, week 1. It's week 1.
Week 1. That's right. They open LA.
Yeah. Because I don't think this is going to be drawn out into some long court thing. This will be resolved quickly. They'll pay him off eventually because that's what they're going to have to do with lawyers now involved. And basically, by you offering the guy $200, you're already telling the person and telling the NFL you're guilty because you were trying to cover up something you did wrong. Because that's why you would pay $200 because you obviously did something wrong. It's just, and I'd love to say, dude, I hope this is the moment you've learned your lesson finally. Like, okay, because now you're going to have to relive the past because people are already writing the articles about what's happened to you in the past. And so here we go again. And the key thing is what you said to start off the interview. It was incredibly avoidable. That's it. Yep. You know, if it was him and his friends fishing on somebody else's boat in the dock, or if it was just his friends or whatever, and the guy comes and says, hey, you got to get out of that boat. You know, you're Tyreek Hill. You got to immediately apologize. Say, hey, I'm sorry hey, guys, get off the boat. Hey, I'm sorry. We were just admiring the boat. Hey, my bad. I apologize. And just get over and leave it. And it dies. Because you're Tyreek, nobody's going to say anything. The guy's going to say, okay, the guy got off the boat. We're good. Cool. Nobody would ever find out about that. But the second now you start, hey, do you know who I am? I could buy you and the boat and the marina. And, you know, when that shit starts,
yep.
Now all of a sudden, you know, it's this sense of entitlement that we've given entertainers and politicians and people of power and athletes. This is our own fault in our society because we've instilled this into people from when they're really young that they can get away with shit. And it doesn't matter who you are and what walk of life. If you have power, you end up pulling shit like this.
I think a lot of times, too, you just have to ask yourself, if you're an NFL player, an NBA player, you know, any athlete of note, like, or really any person of note, an actor, an actress, a singer, whatever, is my action going to be worth the repercussion? And in most cases, it's not. Again, right now, it's allegations. We're going to find out a lot more about this. But from what it sounds like, from what you read, from the allegations that are out there, this is something that clearly that falls in the category of it. Why? Like, why? There's just no need. And look, it's easy to sit there and say that. It's easy not to be in the moment. But at the same point, like, that's part of the reason you're paid. You know, in Tyreek's case, $30 million, or in somebody else's case, and some of these quarterbacks now $50 million plus. Part of the reason is you represent that organization. You are a driver of ticket sales, of merchandising, of billboards, of all the rest of it. You are paid handsomely to represent that organization. And by the way, let's just continue to use this example. The Miami Dolphins, that is Miami. You're representing that city, whether you like it or not. Like, that's the reality of it.
Dude, he's got a store in a mall.
Right. I mean,
he's got a product that he's trying to sell, and he wants people to buy it. This is the kind of shit that will stop people from buying, because then parents will say, no, I don't want you to wear his stuff. I don't want you wearing his number or representing him. And you know what's the other thing that sucks about all of this? And I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, fine, go.
You just created a problem that now will last for months, because whatever the suspension is, if it's 1 or 2 games or 3 games, whatever, guess what the topic is every week, because you're missing Tyreek. So now you have laid this problem not only on yourself, now you've laid it on all your teammates. Now the head coach has got to address it, and he's probably going to have to address it a couple of times, address it initially, address it in the suspension, address it in when you're missing every week. You know, those kind of things. I mean, you started off the offseason by saying you wanted to be a 2,000-yard receiver. Well, guess what, buddy? You just ruined every chance you had at trying to get 2,000 yards this season for one stupid mistake.
I think, you know, and look, everybody's different. But and this an example I'm going to use of a guy who was moving around the league is not somebody who was doing it for any kind of criminal conduct or anything like that. But I was younger. I was a kid, a teenager, whatever, when Terrell Owens was a star in the NFL. And Terrell Owens, I mean, again, it wasn't illegal stuff, but he could not be in a locker room. Couldn't handle it. And it got to a point. Look at how great of a player he was. Nobody being honest.
Hall of Fame caliber, bro.
Hall of Fame player, right? And frankly, like not even like just Hall of Fame, one of the best receivers of all time.
No doubt.
Terrell Owens played on how many teams in his career? Because and the Niners traded him when they were good. Like the Niners weren't some bum fest when they got rid of him. Like they were good. Philadelphia was a Super Bowl caliber team, traded him. Dallas, really good team, got rid of him. Then he's on the Bills, then he's on the Bengals, and he's gone. But like my point is, now there wasn't any criminal stuff there, but the reason teams moved on was because it just became too much to deal with all the time. The NFL, more than any sport, more than any entity I can think of, they're big on distractions. It's a distraction. Eliminate distraction. I mean, there are teams that have that stuff, that signage up in their building. Eliminate distractions. Yeah. And with Tyreek Hill, he's a phenomenal player. I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to move off Tyreek or something. That would be ludicrous. But my point is, it's one of these things where it just causes a distraction that they're going to internally look at and go, if the allegations are true, this is completely unnecessary. We didn't need this. You didn't need this. And by the way, we're in a really damn good division, and one game could be the difference. Right. That could be the difference between being a 2 seed and a 6 seed in the AFC.
Amen.
Everything matters.
Yeah. No, that's a great point on your part. That could cost you a game missing him. I mean, you have enough weapons that you should be able to win, but obviously missing Tyreek changes, the complexion of your offense.
Changes how teams are going to guard Jalen Waddle.
Yeah,
if let's just say he's out game one. If you're the Chargers now, you're like, all right, well, we're going to roll the coverage over Waddle.
Bracket his ass.
We're gonna. So now all of a sudden you don't have Hill, and now you have a very limited version of Jalen Waddle because it's like, well, we're not going to let him beat us.
Right. Whereas and he's not going to be thrown into double coverage all the time like that. Yeah, that's true.
And so now all of a sudden it's like it's just cascading effect. I always look at that in baseball. When sometimes a team puts like one more big bat in the lineup, and now guys that should be hitting fifth, like they're hitting fifth instead of fourth because you've added that guy. All that stuff, sports have a cascading effect. And, if they do have to miss Tyreek Hill, that certainly affects Waddle, which in turn affects Tua, which in turn affects the rest of the team.
Yeah. I hope all this reporting is wrong, but man, if they're reading straight off the police report and this ends up being true, man, this is just going to be bad news for the Miami Dolphins. So Tyreek said that he wanted to be the 2,000-yard receiver, the first one to ever do that. Yeah. Well, Chris Jones just made his own prediction. He says he wants to be the defensive player of the year. And when I saw that, I looked at it a little different than the average person would. And maybe you're going to look at it the same way the way I did. This is a team that has accomplished everything it could possibly accomplish. Chris Jones has accomplished everything he could possibly accomplish.
Yes.
Michael Jordan used to find things to motivate himself, make shit up that people were saying that he couldn't do this or couldn't do that. Lots of athletes have done that over time, that they use things to be motivating factors.
Yep.
To me, that's what Chris Jones did. It's not so much that he wants to be that he needs to be the defensive player of the year, but I think the Super Bowl is something he's already done, twice already. So it's like, who he is. He's the Pat Mahomes of defense on that team. So he kind of like then put his own pressure on himself to kind of motivate him to take it to a next level. And I know he's also looking for a new deal too at the same time, but it's kind of interesting what great players do sometimes to kind of juice themselves up.
Yeah. Look, there's no question. And I think with the Chiefs in particular, you're right. They've won 2 Super Bowls and been to 3 of them in 4 years. And Jones has been an enormous part of that. And he's well on his way to going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so, last year he finished 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He finished behind Parsons and Bosa. He is also looking at trying to get an extension. And so he's incredibly motivated. And I think the extension will probably get done here before they even hit camp. But they're a team that the motivation for them right now is especially the big guys who it's all about legacy at this point for them. The Mahomeses, the Jones, the Kelseys.
It's dynasty, bro. That's what it is about now. It's about now the next step for them, the championship 3 and 4 makes you a dynasty.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's always a question right now in Kansas City because I get asked it all the time by fans, even when I go on the radio out there, like, well, are they a dynasty? And I don't think they're a dynasty yet.
Not yet. No, not two doesn't make a dynasty.
They're a great team. Like, they'll be remembered historically because if you win 2, you're remembered.
Always.
But if they win 1 this year and they go back to back and they've won 3 out of 5 and they went to 4 out of 5, now you're in that like 90s Cowboys, 80s Niners, 70s Steelers type of, like, this is one of the greatest teams to ever lace up their cleats. I mean, This is like you're on that level of. So, like, for Mahomes, who, of course, quarterbacks are always the ones who people tie the Super Bowls to more than anybody. I think he's looking at this going, if I'm ever going to catch Brady in a lot of people's minds, I've got to repeat. He's the last one to do it. He did it. And they were a game away from doing it a couple of years ago, and they got smacked around in the Super Bowl by Tampa and Brady. So, but for Jones, I think, he finished 3rd last year at Defensive Player of the Year voting. He's been an all-pro, first team, second team, Pro Bowler a million times. Yeah, I think absolutely the mindset now is like, well, I'm going to do the one thing I haven't done. I'm going to be the MVP of defense, essentially, as that award now always goes to the quarterbacks.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if he does go for Defensive Player of the Year. Who knows? Maybe a Miami Dolphin could be challenging him also for Defensive Player of the Year. There's a couple of guys there that could also have those kind of seasons. The players that got suspended, one's already a free agent. Now the other 2 got cut. But I mean, you hear about the Rodgers kid, and he's winning prop bets on his teammates rushing numbers. It's like somebody, I think it was Schefter, somebody putting out that news about suspending the guys, this, that, and then some idiot retweets, well, either make it legal for everybody or allow them to bet. And it's like, and then I tweeted back to the guy from the I don't get it department. Oh. You know what I mean? It's like, brother, athletes you can't have them betting inside a facility, even on another sport. Why? Because athletes know each other, bro. And they can make a call to each other and all that. And so no sport, whether it's baseball or football or basketball, wants to be involved in this shit at all, because everybody knows from the whole Black Sox era, which happened well over 100 years ago, and we've never forgotten that. And then everything else that's come after that in other, instances where there's been some level of deceit or cheating or anything like that. Leagues don't want to be tied to anything like that. And, players have to understand that, dude, you want to make a bet on something that's not your sport, brother, just go away from the facility. Don't get the league involved. That's all they're asking. Not that difficult.
I'm going to be honest. I have zero sympathy for any of these guys to get popped for gambling.
I agree.
I mean, if I have to see one more person, it's a fan, an analyst, somebody in the media who's like, it's not fair these guys getting popped for gambling when the leagues are taking in money from gambling, or when you look at a guy who gets suspended for 4 games for bad behavior off the field for whatever the infraction is. But it's, why is it a season? If you don't understand that, you shouldn't cover the sport.
Right?
Like, I can't express the NFL has to maintain its integrity. If you don't think, if the fan doesn't think the game's on the level, that is the end of the league. Okay. Yeah. It is roller derby from that point on. You cannot have that. So all these dudes getting suspended, you deserve to be suspended. What are you doing? You're told by every team in the league repeatedly. There are signs.
There's a sign. Yeah. Inside the locker, every locker room has it.
Not gamble. And if these guys do it, a prop bet on your running back, what are you doing?
Dude, you and I have been going into locker rooms for years.
What are you
Guys
doing?
leave the facility all the time to go get some food and come back.
Yes.
Brother, get in your car, go get your food while you're in the drive-thru or waiting.
Bet on the Clippers.
And there you go.
Like,
that's it.
It's not hard. And I like this idea that like these guys somehow are being unfairly treated. I'm going to tell you the next step of all this. The next wave of guys who do this are getting banned permanently.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. Because the NFL is going to say, we can't risk this. Like a year is a pretty harsh suspension. The next step is going to be zero tolerance, one and done. You're out. Because to me, the NFL, the NBA, any of these leagues, you can't have this. Now, I will say this. These leagues have also brought this to some degree on themselves with the amount of gambling they are just waving in with a baton.
Of course.
But at the same point, these players, I mean, come on, man. Are you not making enough money off these games? You got to drop $5K on a triple parlay? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
It's crazy. No. I don't gamble on NFL games. I could, because technically, but I feel like if I have inside information on a game, obviously in terms of like injuries and stuff like that, I don't feel like it's fair. That's just me. I could do it, but I don't. But the players, if you're a player, think about how much inside information you have as a player. And then you're involved. Beyond being involved in the game, how much you know. So, like, you can't. It's not right.
Yeah. No, to me, it makes zero sense, and it's just a bunch of laziness, too. And then the Rodgers kid, when you're betting on your, on the NFL and on your own team and all, I mean, that is just catastrophically stupid. And that guy, a year from now, maybe he's not even let in a year from now, but either way, teams are going to look at him and go, this is not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. I don't know if I want to bring this guy in because he might do the next stupid thing, and he's not some superstar. So, when the baggage outweighs the talent, that's where they say,
that's it.
We've had enough. We've had enough.
By the way, to that point, just to really hammer this home. So let's say that he's a defensive player, okay, who got popped. So let's say there's a situation where he bets on Jonathan Taylor to hit the over on his prop, and it's 99.5 rushing yards. And Taylor's at 95, and he took the over. Maybe if they're winning by 3 scores, maybe he misses a tackle to let the guy in the end zone so that the Colts get the ball back, and Taylor's got to run 3 or 4 more times, right?
Right, yeah.
You cannot have it. You cannot have it. I have no sympathy for any of these guys. You bet on the NFL. You knew damn well you're not supposed to bet on the league. And you deserve what's coming. And they're getting what's coming right now.
It's the airplane movie all over. Shane, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. Yeah. I say, let them crash. So, yeah, it's what we got going on. All right, what do you got going on SI so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yep, previews keep rolling. We got those going, I think, through July 18th. So every other day, I'll have a preview going up, 32 teams in 32 days. Gilberto Manzano, my great coworker, also has them going up on the other dates. Yesterday, we published my piece on Jordan Love. I did an exclusive interview with him. I went up to Green Bay, spent time with him and some of his teammates. I really enjoyed that. You can check that out on SI.com. And if you can't find it there for whatever the reason, you just Google my name and SI and you'll see it there. Next week, I have a piece coming out also from when I was in Green Bay about Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, the city of Green Bay's relationship with him now. I got to tell you, that's what's probably one of my favorite pieces I've ever written. I would encourage people to check it out. It's really, really, really interesting. I know people are Rodgers out with news. This is more about fans and their heart and the city of Green Bay. It was a lot of fun to write that piece. So those are some of the things coming out in the next few weeks. I'm literally booking my training camp tour as we speak. So
they love them over there. They love them over there, right?
You know what? It's more mixed than you'd think.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's not like he asked out like Favre did. So I kind of got it with Favre and all that, and the rift between him and the GM and all that. So it was kind of tough. But with Rodgers, he was kind of booted out. I know he's said some stuff in the past, whatever. But I would figure that he would have a little more love than Brett. But Brett was better at connecting with fans because of that energy he brought to the game. That that kid energy that he had,
Yes.
like when he was, and I think that's something that resonated with people too at the same time, with the average person.
I would agree. I would agree with all that. I think Rodgers definitely has a little bit of a better standing right now at the moment, but there are some people who are, who really are pretty upset about it. It was very interesting to walk around the city.
Dude, Favre wanted to go play for Minnesota just to kind of stick it back at them.
That didn't go well.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like I got to figure that the Rodgers thing, and it's weird how these relationships with these two studs didn't end well. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, it sucks, dude. It sucks that happens, that Montana has to leave, and that this happens all the time to the great player, that they can't just, retire with class and dignity with their team. There's, in marriage, it's till death do us part, and you try to stay committed and you fight through adversity and all those things. But in sports, my brother, there is no death do us part.
No, it's at the end of the contract do us part. I mean, if Brady and Manning couldn't retire with their teams,
Gretzky, bro. I mean,
4 teams, Wayne Gretzky, 4 teams.
Like, are you serious? I mean, you're like, you're Edmonton. How in the hell did you let him go in the first place? You know what I'm saying? It was like, these are the kind of things that are just absolutely crazy, man.
Derek Jeter's the rarity.
Yeah,
the rare guy who just. But they're also in a sport where they had the money and they can outbid teams, and it's totally,
New York, right? Yes,
football.
Right.
I mean, people don't even know or remember. Joe Namath finished with the Rams. It's just Johnny Unitas with the Chargers, right? I mean, it's
Willie Mays and the Mets, bro. I mean, those things are just wrong, man. When you see that, it's just like, no, dude, this is not right. It's not the way it's supposed to go down, but it is what it is. All right, follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his exceptional work there at Sports Illustrated. And, of course, you can catch him every Wednesday normally. Today we just adjusted because he was a little bit under the weather. So it's all good in the hood. By the way, tip for you, when you go to Atlanta, and if anybody ever tells you to take the Coca-Cola tour, never do that shit.
Okay.
So, I know, but just in case. You're with the family and somebody says, hey, Coca-Cola, tell them, hey, you guys go, and I'm going to go eat over here while you guys go do that, because that is throwing away $23. I mean, seriously, it's just like lighting it up on fire.
I'm glad to know that. That'll keep me away from the tour.
I was now the Cure was fantastic both nights, so that was fantastic. So, are you a Cure fan?
Some of it. So yeah, I have like probably 4 or 5 songs on my phone.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Good stuff. Matt, appreciate you. We'll catch up next week, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
You got it. Don't slap anybody in the back of the neck.
I won't. I won't do that. Nor am I going to give anybody any money. So I'm steering clear of all these things. I'm going to go sit on my porch and have a beer. That's about it.
Tomorrow we'll have some money for you.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
So I will keep that money.
Yes, you will. Damn right you will. You earned it. All right, baby. You be good, bro. Appreciate you. You got it. There you go. Matt Verderame, baby, from Sports Illustrated. Always coming through for us, and we love him. Appreciate him immensely. Alan Poupon.